Hello, and welcome to the Brown Note with Elvis Curry.
And Icarus Levy. Hello.
Yes, we will be your hosts today.
So
Today we are going to be interviewing each other.
I think you should interview me first because I'm not feeling very interrogative right now.
Alright. So I'm interviewing you.
Indeed.
Okay. So without further ado,
Let's get straight into it.
let's roll. So, question number 1. Who are you and what is it you do?
So my name is Icarus. I am a vocalist. I dabble in a bit of bass. I dabble in a bit of drums. I say dabble because I'm not very good at either, but I play here and there. But I mainly do vocals. I do like harsh vocals mainly. I bet you couldn't tell. But I also do a bit of singing like here and there. But yeah, that's what I do.
Yes, cool. So what bands are you in?
I'm in a band called Garot, which are a punky groove metal band. We've got an album on the way, actually, little plug. That's going to be pretty cool. I'm also temporarily, maybe, in a band called the Horny Cougars, doing a couple covers with them, which Mr. Elvis Curry is a part of.
Wonder who the lead guitarist / leader of the Horny Cougars is.
It could be anyone. Is he in the
Love
room with us? Maybe. I'm also in a band called Syncopa, which
Yes.
I've been in for about a year now. I am the part-time vocalist and part-time drummer and part-time bassist. We kind of just switch around.
Yes.
But the band that I put the most time into is Garot. Hence the album, which is going to be mega. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be on streaming services at some point. But yeah, those bands are what I am encapsulated by, and I spend most of my time putting effort into that.
So, you heard the man. Watch out for Garot. Watch out for Garot. You can find him on Instagram. What is it?
It's garot.bnd on Instagram.
Yes. So go follow the account. Okay.
Indeed.
Enough of that. Question number 2. What are you doing for your FMP?
So for my FMP, I'm doing 3 different parts, and the first one is going to be like the main research part. I'm doing like a riot study, so I'm looking back into the genres that I enjoy listening to, like metalcore, like hardcore, a bit of punk and everything, and looking at their political and like economic background, like Jaden Smith, like that one time in that one podcast. But yeah, I'm studying how those different bands have been influenced by major things that happened in the past, like riots and like political movements, and how they've sort of grown out of that, and how those genres have kind of devolved into other genres, like punk devolved into like emo, which devolved into Midwest emo, which devolved into everything else, and then like punk also devolved into metalcore, where it devolved into hardcore, which devolved into metalcore. I'm just doing a study on that sort of timeline and give you a timeline on that.
Yeah.
And then
Of course.
my second part, I'm doing a collaborative study, so I'm showing off how I can work pretty well with other like people and creators, and that is basically going to be mainly just practical work and blog and stuff, and it's going to end with this album. It might be an album by that point, it might just be a couple singles, but either way there'll be releases by Garot, which I can put out and be like, hey, this is my sound, check us out. But yeah, I'll also include a big portfolio on that, like photos and stuff, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, and then the sort of third bit is just this podcast.
Yeah, definitely. This comes under research quite nicely, I think.
Yeah, it was originally going to be like a main, like it was going to be 3 points, but I was like, this more consults to the research part. I could just put it as part of that, and that'd be like the main focus of the research.
Yeah. Well, what I was thinking, we can have it as a kind of like separate pathway, like a study of different musical pathways. Because obviously we're interviewing
Yeah.
each other and our musical pathways right now, but we're going to get other guests on. We can do that for them.
Indeed.
One thing I did feel like we glossed over is, could you go into a little bit more depth on some of the riot stuff you talked to? Like, give me some examples, like, you know, just stuff like that, of stuff you want to research, stuff that really kind of interests you and has prompted you to do that.
Yeah. So I can thank my friend and bass player Saul for a lot of the influence in like punk and hardcore.
Great
I'm getting
guy.
it. He is a great guy. You'll hear a lot of his work on the album. I'm gonna keep plugging that.
Yes.
But I give a lot of props to him for getting me into that kind of stuff. But also, for example, Avenged Sevenfold, they're my favourite band. I'm going to be looking into them a lot. I'm going to be looking into their background because they used to be kind of like a hardcore punk band. Like in their first album, Sound the Seventh Trumpet was very punk influenced. And I want to see their sort of, because they were influenced by bands like NoFX, Suicidal Tendencies, like Mr. Bungle. Like, they're influenced by so many different bands. And I want to look at what influences that, like where that comes from, like, you know what I mean, like that sort of what they pull from that and how that's evolved from different things. And I want to see where the root of that is, because obviously early punk comes from like class differences and people like not like being happy with the way they're living, and the rich staying rich and the poor staying poor. Like, it's all come from class divide, and I want to look at how that's kind of changed but also sort of stayed the same, and how we're kind of repeating the process, because obviously everything going on in the world right now like this is just crazy. It's everything's happening all at once.
It's quite a time we're living.
It is. It's crazy. We're living in the same time as like America are gonna like kill people, but we're also living in the same time as Skibidi Toilet. So there's pros and there's cons to living in this world. But yeah, it's basically looking into the history of my favourite bands and also bands in the scene that I like. So I will be looking at like bands like NoFX and Suicidal Tendencies, and like as far back as like the Sex Pistols, stuff like that.
Yeah. So what you're really doing is kind of doing a real kind of deep dive into the kind of cultural impact on music.
Exactly
like,
that.
Really.
I couldn't have said it better myself. But yeah, that's literally what it is. I'm just looking at all these different selections of bands and being like, hey, why do you make this music? Where does this come from? Like, you wouldn't just hear M Shadow screaming about injustice for no reason. Like, it's come from somewhere. I want to see where, and not just for Avenged, just like an example, but like just in general, I want to see the sort of like what's happened in the world for this music to. It didn't just appear out of nowhere. People didn't just start going like, oh, let's start shouting at the government and be like, hey, fuck you guys. Like, it's come from somewhere. So I want to see exactly where. Like, I want to pinpoint that, and I want to see why, pretty much.
It's interesting stuff, yeah. Okay. Next question. Less of a question, more of a statement.
Indeed.
Give a rich and deep story of your artistic pathway. So from the time you first picked up your first instrument or started singing up until now.
Ooh.
Tell me how you've developed, how you've evolved over time.
Okay, so in terms of music, I started out with theatre. Now, I was a little drama kid. There's videos of me on the internet doing my little solos and stuff, and it was great. I thought I was killing it.
Yes.
But it was great. I was in productions like Little Shop of Horrors, not the official one, but like in this drama school I went to.
Yeah.
I went to this drama school for like 6 years, and I was the only boy in my group for a lot of it, so it was very awkward. But you know, what can I say?
Yeah. So where did you go from there?
So I sort of like, I don't know. It was like a sort of. I started in drama school and I did loads of different productions. I was like, I want to do more than this, and I sort of got to around like year 7. I was like, I don't like this. I thought I didn't like it anymore, so I stopped, and I started like, I just completely came away from music. I just started listening to like drill and stuff. It was, like, you don't all the bad stuff. You don't want to listen to that. Everyone's gone through that phase, but you don't want to be there.
Yes.
And I sort of just looked at that and I was like, okay, what am I doing? What am I doing here? And then like, you don't mind if I like give some context and background, right?
Yeah, of course, because
Yeah,
that's why I'm asking
so,
this.
so I was playing rugby for a while, and I was doing like Muay Thai and like MMA and stuff, and I was really into it, and I still am. But then I broke my ankle, which was a major spanner in the works. But I'd started to get back into music as a form of expressing myself, and I was back into drama because I did drama for GCSE. I was going to do music, but they weren't allowing it because there was only two of us. But I did drama, and that was great, kind of. But I was in a couple of productions. I was in Hamilton, our little school production of Hamilton. I was King George. Had to have all the sass. I would demonstrate the walk, but I feel panties may drop, and trousers may be sodden. So I'm just maybe for another day, maybe for a later episode of the Brown Note podcast.
Dude.
But I went with that, and then I was like, what do I want to do? I want to do music. I love music. I was on a deep dive of just all like hardcore heavy music, everything. I was listening to so much like Bring Me the Horizon, Pierce the Veil, like all sorts of loads of emo bands. I was listening to a lot of like Panic! At the Disco and Fall Out Boy. I've been listening to Fall Out Boy since like year 4. It's crazy. But like I was like, okay, I definitely want to do music. So I was like, I'm gonna do music at college. Did music at college. Found loads of great people. Found loads of great musicians, and who've taught me loads of great things. So I've started learning to play bass. I've started learning to play drums. I was already learning to play drums before. I was like, I want to learn a new instrument, and that actually reminds me, I've been playing flute since year 3.
Ooh.
I started playing the flute in year 3 and stopped around year 6. So not too long, 3 years, but like I can play Hot Cross Buns a couple of times.
Yeah. That's pretty wicked.
But I got better at all these instruments, and I feel like I have got better while I've been at college a lot. Even with vocals, like, I've made more progress with vocals while I've been at college than my entire life. So I must
say, like, you know, looking at you from like the start of year 1 and to where you kind of are now, like end of year 2, you've progressed so much. Like it's kind of crazy, you know. You've started picking up bass, picking up guitar. You know, it's really good to see. I think you've really kind of developed, I think is the right word.
I feel like that's fully because of the people around me. Like, because...
Yeah, of course.
Like... but I just think that, like... I don't know. Being in Syncopa... well, my drummer for Garot was also in Syncopa with me, which is how we're so close. And Harry Norris, he'll be on a later episode of the Brown Note podcast. He'll be here.
Yes, he will.
Ignore the dye on my fingers, by the way. I just dyed my hair.
Fair enough.
But also when chimney sweeping, or I don't know, garrotting an ape that's covered in soot. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But yeah, he wanted to play guitar, so I was like, okay, I'll play some drums. I can play a little bit of drums, and I used the excuse of I've got a bad ankle, so let me use a double kick. My ankle was fine. I broke it, but it was fine. Like, I could use it. I was just lazy, and I was shit at drums, so that was my excuse. But I'm left-handed, so I play like this instead of like this.
Yeah.
So it looks a bit weird.
It makes a difference.
It does make a difference, but it also means I can open fills quicker because that's what Ringo started. I like live by that because they're like, oh, why do you play like that? I'm like, Ringo started. Kind of.
Exactly.
Not really. Kind of. He kind of did. He opened his fills with his left. But yeah. Sorry, what was the question again?
Give a rich and deep story of your artistic pathway.
Oh, yeah. So I think that my progress in college has really come from like just wanting to just explore all avenues of music and be like, I can't just be a vocalist. Like, you see a vocalist, like, oh cool, he can sing, like he can do some screams. But then you see a vocalist who's also playing the bass at the same time. They're like, I like this guy. Like, it's more impressive. And I love guitar. I've always wanted to play guitar, and like, I never really had the drive. I did guitar lessons in like year 6, but I didn't enjoy them, because they were putting us straight into songs like songs like Status Quo, which I wrote around. But year 6 me, I didn't really want to listen to any of that. Like, I hated it. But
yeah, that's fair enough.
But like, I started playing guitar, and I learned a couple songs. Like, I learned Where Did You Sleep Last Night. which is
Did.
a Nirvana cover of a Lead Belly song, which is a great song. And I like a couple others, but I never really got into it. And then this guy right here gave me this bad boy.
I don't think it's in. Is it in there?
Yeah, right here. Hold on.
Yes, there we go.
This bad boy.
There we have it.
Which
The Ibanez GIO.
it definitely propelled. It definitely propelled my like guitar playing. I learned like 4 songs in a week. I was just banging out every day, and I still do play it very, very often. Just run out of the time. But yeah, that definitely helped with practicing and everything. And then in terms of drums, I've been practicing a lot more recently because I got a new kit, so I'm getting better at all my things, and I like that.
Yeah. Okay, we're ready to move on.
Indeed.
So, explain your personal musical influences from a young age up to now.
So, when I was little, I used to look up to Brendan Urie a lot of Panic at the Disco. Now, rocky subject today. Like,
Yeah.
there's been many slurs said. Oh, there's been many a slur said, many unsavory things said to underage people. But besides that, I didn't know that as a kid. But I looked up to him. I looked up to Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy. Loved him. But in terms of people who weren't vocalists, I looked up to Josh Dunn of 21 Pilots. You can see the kind of theme here with the bands.
Yeah.
You see the sort of theme. I also like Pete Wentz from Panic at the Disco, who's the bassist. I just thought it was cool. And there wasn't really much else in terms of non-pop stuff. I didn't really listen to much music, but back then that was kind of only stuff I'd be listening to. So I didn't really have as big a knowledge of musicians. But nowadays, my main influence is M Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold. I love his singing, his harsh vocals, his screams. I also like Phil Anselmo. Now he's been touted as not the greatest vocalist, which I can understand why people think that, but I love his vocals. It's just the hardcore, as he would say, muscle.
Yeah, just fucking muscle, bro.
Yeah,
and passion.
Motherfucker had it all. But I think, like, I like Phil because I just like his raw, just like in 5 minutes alone. I love that shit. I like that's
just that like power behind his voice, you know. It's not something a lot of vocalists have, I don't think.
I'm also a big fan of Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. Love Chester. I always have. I've always Linkin Park has always been on the back burner with me because my cousins liked Linkin Park. Well, one of my cousins did. So there was a weird dynamic. I was raised on like Metallica, like Tupac, Guns N' Roses, by my parents. One of my cousins was raised on like Weezer, Green Day, like those kinds of bands.
Yeah.
And then my other cousin was raised by like Linkin Park and 21 Pilots, and I kind of we all get along really well, and we've kind of incorporated them into our own lives. I love all of those bands, like every single one of those bands that I listed. Other than Green, I'm not a massive fan of Green Day. I like Weezer though. Weezer are cool.
Weezer.
But yeah, I think in terms of influences, Chester is definitely up there because his emotions like second to none. Like it's crazy. Like, But in terms of like other musicians that aren't just vocalists, because I have a lot of vocal inspirations, I could go on for ages. Like I could list my top 5 vocalists off the top of my head, but like I think in terms of musicians as well, I like Eloy Casagrande. So he was the drummer for Sepultura and now the drummer for Slipknot. I also like Joey Jordison, who also is the first drummer for Slipknot. Now you may see a theme here, Slipknot, and you'll think, maybe this guy likes Slipknot. Maybe. I don't actually. I don't like them as much as I used to, but I like I like some of the members in it. I like Mick, I like Jim, I like Sid. I like all of them but Clown and Corey.
Yeah, bro, there is no shame in liking Slipknot. Their first 2 albums, I'd say, are pretty unparalleled. I'll be honest with you, they are 2 really good pieces of music. It's just the posers, really. It's the same with Deftones. I love Deftones. I love Chino, but it's just the people that are like, oh, let's make out covered in blood listening to Deftones in a graveyard.
Like, Just get out.
It's pretty corny.
Just
The
get out. Like,
fans, yeah.
like I'm sat here listening to Deftones, and they're like, "Oh, you listen to Deftones? Oh, do you play Valorant? Oh, yeah. Do you like my mommy voice? Like, get out, get out."
It's pretty horrible.
It was rough,
It is
bro.
rather
It's
horrible,
rough.
isn't it?
I wasn't referencing anyone there, I promise. But yeah, like I just don't like posers. I sound really pretentious saying that, but like it's people who are like very obviously not into it, but they act like they are.
Yeah.
Like with Slipknot, it's a very
Especially if it's something like you feel so strongly about as well.
Yeah.
I think it makes quite.
like I love Slipknot, and I have for a very long time. But like, I don't know. Not liking the lead singer kind of adds to why I don't listen to them. Like I think that kind of contributes a lot. But yeah, in terms of influences though, I like the Rev. The Rev is very cool.
Yeah.
The Rev is very, very cool. And
Brilliant.
Sinister Gates. Just all of Avenged Sevenfold. I love all of Avenged Sevenfold. Sinister Gates, Zaki Vengeance, Johnny Christ, the Rev, and M Shadows, and also Brooks Wackerman as well. Obviously, it's Prodigy. But I also like Dimebag Darrell. He's my favorite guitarist. I've actually got him.
Yeah.
Let me show you. Let me just get everything off my screen. Let me show you.
Yeah.
The man himself. I love Dime. He's great. His guitar playing is like just insane. I also, now Elvis won't like this one, but I also like Tim Henson. Tim Henson's pretty cool.
He's a good guitarist.
I like his playing, and I also like his vibe. He's just a cool dude. Very pretty dude. He's very pretty. I actually thought he was a girl at first, but you know.
So did I.
But he's actually not. Like, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
He's a pretty guy.
He's a talented guy as well.
Oh yeah, massively. I also like Slash. Slash is pretty cool. I wouldn't say he's one of the best guitarists, but he is up there for me. I like Zakk Wylde. Zakk Wylde is very, very cool. Now, Elvis, I understand you've got some opinions about Zakk Wylde. Would you like to share? Would you like to share these opinions? Or share your opinions?
Well, my main, I don't have. First of all, I don't have opinions about Zakk Wylde. I think he's a wicked guitarist. He's played in so many different bands like Pantera, Ozzy Osbourne, Black Label Society. He's a talented dude. There's no denying it. That being said, from a guitarist's point of view, I find his playing a little bit one-dimensional and monotonous. That's not to say I don't like that style of playing. Literally, arguably one of my favourite guitarists, Yngwie Malmsteen, does the exact same thing. He does the exact same thing. He just plays the harmonic minor scale really, really, really fast, which is cool if you like it. I do like it. That's why I listen to it. But Zakk Wylde is just playing blues licks over and over and over again. It just doesn't really float my boat, and because he doesn't really have much else that he does, which is fine. That's not an issue. But you know, because he doesn't do that, I struggle to enjoy his music.
I think it's like, if you're looking at skill level, it's difficult to gauge. It's like trying to judge like bread against a pair of scissors. Like, it is two completely different things. Like you can't like, it's two completely different styles of guitar. So there's not going to be many people who like both because it's very Marmite both sides. Same with most things in music. Music is very Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. Like with all music. Like I do not like drill at all, but I love like groove metal. But I'm sure there's someone a block away that is the complete opposite. But,
yeah. It's all subjective at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think. Anyway, I think we should move on to the next question.
Indeed.
So, what's your personal skills and attributes as a musician and a bandmate?
So, I'm a pretty good vocalist, I like to say. I can do cleans, fries, gutturals to an extent. I notice sometimes when I do gutturals, I kind of have a guttural voice crack, which sounds really weird in my head, but apparently it doesn't sound any different. But I feel it in my throat. It's really weird. It's probably because I'm doing it wrong, but you know. I also like doing harsh vocals, just shouting, singing, pretty much. I can play the bass. I can play it to like an intermediate level. I can pretty much play Hysteria, but like with the pick. So apparently that's not right according to some people. Not gonna name any names. Elvis knows who I'm on about. But I also can play the drums. I can play quite a few songs on the drums. I could play the ones that people like. They're like, oh, play something. I'll play something. They're like, oh, it's that song. Like, I can play I can jam. I'm alright at drums. I used to be really, really, really shit. Like beginning of term 1, I was really bad. I was really, really bad. But now
we'll start.
but I now feel like, I think it's because a lot of insecurity from that came from the fact that the two other drummers in our class are two of the best drummers I've ever met in my life. Like, for context,
Harry are talented dudes.
So Harry is the drummer in my band, and Ralph is the drummer in Elvis's band. Now they are both. It's like comparing Yngwie Malmsteen to Zakk Wylde. They're two completely different styles of players. Jazz. Ralph plays a lot of jazz, kind of funky kind of drums, which are very cool, very like experimental and progressive. And then Harry plays a lot of metal drums, like prog drums, a lot of prog drums. He loves Dream Theater, and he loves just. We'll be playing a song and he's just messed with the time signature. He's like, I'm gonna put this in 3/16 or something like that. Austin 3/16. But like, yeah, I think I'm pretty good at drums though. Like for someone that's been playing, I'd say for just over a year, because I was playing, but I was literally just doing rudiments on a practice pad. But actually playing for about a year. Yeah. But
you're pretty good at the drums now.
In terms of bandmate, one of my strong points is songwriting. I think my songwriting's pretty good.
And your lyric writing. Is the main thing.
I just think that that's what I mean. I don't write any I've written some guitar songs. They're not very good, but they're like ambient little songs. But I feel like my like lyric writing ability is pretty good, because I can get given a prompt and they're like, oh, write about this, and I'll write about it. Like we had this workshop last year in the first year of college where it was like we got given 3 random prompts. We got Soul, Over the Rainbow, Bottom of a Bottle, and something else. I can't remember what it was. And me and Harry and this other guy called Grayson, who was in Syncopa with us at the time, or still is, we made a song in about 10 minutes, which is now going to be a song that's featured on our album. We haven't actually got a name for it yet, so that might change. I might retouch on the subject in a later episode and be like, hey, guys, we've got a name. It's this. But at the moment, it's just called the Drink Driving Riff. We wrote a whole song. It's pretty cool. But it's pretty techie. In terms of a bandmate, I'm good at communicating my issues. Like, if I don't like something, I'll be like, bro, that's not good. Like, for example,
that's such an important skill to have as well, I think.
I just think that someone like having a band of yes men is like, you're not gonna go anywhere. Like, if you play something and it's bad, your bandmates should be the first people to tell you. It shouldn't be people who you're performing to. Like, if there's an issue, you should resolve it before it actually comes to the stage. Like, there's a couple bits that I didn't like about our songs that we're making. So I was like, guys, can we like not do that? For example, like, even like if it's got a bar too long and I've written, or like a bar too short and I've written enough lyrics for it to go a bit longer, and I really want to use those lyrics, so like, can we maybe push it a little bit more? And we're all kind of, that's why I like the dynamic in Garot so much, because we all kind of bring our own intake from it and just kind of our own perspectives, because we all like different things. We all like so much different things. And I think that leads into my other thing that I'm pretty good at, is just understanding people's like kind of viewpoints and backgrounds and stuff. Like, I like to hear what other people think. I like getting like criticism and everything. I'll always ask, does it sound good? Or like, I'll come off stage and be like, how do I sound? And it's not me like fishing for compliments, but I'm more like, I want to make sure that I am doing the best I can, and I'm sounding, I'm giving people my like 100%, and I don't sound like shit. So when I say that, I don't want people to be like, oh, you sounded great, even if I didn't. I want them to be like, bro, work on this, which is something that Travis does. Travis does that a lot. He would tell me like, oh, bro, that was great, just sort out this bit and you'll sound. Which I do appreciate.
That's something that really needs to happen, I think, in my opinion.
I appreciate...
If you're not doing that with the band.
Yeah, I appreciate when people do that, because it's like, I like when people say it's really good, but then I also am like, I want you to tell, because I'll only really ask that question if I think I did something wrong at all in that performance. So I'd hope that they'd notice that and pick up on that, and I'm like, it wasn't good though. Like, you heard that bit. Like, for example, if I have a huge voice crack, they'll go, oh yeah, it was really great. Are you going to speak about the voice crack, and you're going to just tell me that I should keep doing that? Because I don't want to keep doing that. So I just feel like
Yeah, 100%.
I like receiving the sort of like
Good criticism.
I like yeah,
It's important. It's important. It's a
definitely.
good thing to be able
Can
to
we also
kind of.
completely unrelated? Do you like my new poster? I got a new poster. It's very cool.
What's on it?
It's Darth Vader of Star Wars.
Oh, and it's in Japanese.
Yeah. I saw it in
That is
HMV Hatcop.
that is pretty cool.
It's very,
That is
very cool.
rather cool. Okay. Anyway,
Indeed.
next question. So, pivotal moments in your career.
Huh. Probably the gap where I didn't do any sort of music between theatre school and then doing drama, which kind of put me back into like the theatre aspects of it. But joining college, definitely. I don't think if I didn't like join college, I wouldn't have found Avenged Sevenfold. Wouldn't have. I knew of Pantera. I knew like Walk. That was it. I knew Walk.
Yeah.
And like I didn't have a clue who Black Label Society was. I didn't have a clue who Polyphia was. Most of the bands I listen to today, I had no idea who they were, or I knew of them. Like with Avenged, I knew.
Exactly.
I knew. What's that actually? No, I knew Hail to the King. I knew Acid Rain, and I knew. That's literally it. They were the only two songs I knew by Avenged, and then joined college, made friends with so many like people who were into this kind of stuff, and they were like, "Hey, dude, I reckon you like these guys. Listen to this," and I was just like, "Whoa," and that just influenced my whole sound completely, like entirely. Yeah, I think they're the two main pivotal moments in my career.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so last question. What are your plans for the future? So after college?
I mean, I've kind of thought about this a lot. It's a loaded question. I don't know what I'm doing directly after college. I was thinking about going to uni, but I don't know because it's very expensive. So I was thinking of having like a bit of a break, get a full-time job. Every time I say that, I feel like that one photo of the guy, when he's drinking the beer and he's got the remote. I'm gonna put a picture of that in the middle of the screen right now. This photo. But like I feel like I don't know. I want to go to uni, but I don't know how I'll go about. It's very daunting. It's very like intimidating. Looking at it was the same with college, but not to this degree. Like because with uni, I've always thought of it as this high. Not many people go there. Like it's only for the really good, talented people. And hearing that I have to audition for things also makes me want to learn more instruments because I'm like, if I just go there and sing at them, like they're gonna be like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I feel like if I'm playing a guitar while I'm singing, that might make me get in their good books a bit easier. But yeah, I just want to hone my skills, get better at everything, improve everything, even the things that I'm good at. So I want to improve like my vocals, I want to improve my bass, I want to improve my drums, I want to improve my songwriting, I want to improve my ability to network and like the way I communicate with other artists around me and the kind of the people like and understanding the people that I mix with better, like to like the best degree. I feel like that's imperative, and I just want to like when I'm older, I always thought, oh, being famous would be cool, but then you kind of grow up and you see the kind of reality of people who are famous. Like I don't want to leave my house and be fucking bombarded with cameras. I'm like, get the fuck away from me. I want to go and I want to have a doobie by a lake. Let me do that, right? Like I don't want to have to just be like surrounded by security all the time, getting into blacked out cars. Like, I don't know. I just want to do things that normal people do. So I feel like the kind of level I'd want to get to in like aspiration terms is just a level where I don't know. People kind of know of me, but they're not everyone. You know what I mean? So the sort of a cool, more realistic dream would be to open a record store. A record store which also. So I had this idea of like. So there's a shop, I think it's still open, called Magazine Heaven in Russian Lakes, which is nearby to me and Elvis. And it's weird, I'm talking to you and I'm talking to the camera at the same time. But that was really cool. It was like vines and everything. It was a magazine store, but it had a little cafe upstairs where you could sit down and you could read the magazines over a coffee and stuff. And I thought, how cool would that be if it was a record store and it was like a cafe / music bar upstairs for like little acoustic sets, And I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
that would be really, really cool. Like, it's sort of like what Euronymous did for black metal. He had the less.
That's such a horrible example.
Yeah, I know. Less murdering of
The
your
man who was
bandmates.
stabbed to death.
Yeah, the guy who was like brutally stabbed. He had a record store, and then downstairs, I hate black metal. I don't want to push that I like black metal. I hate black metal. It's terrible music. It can't even be considered music. It's horrible. But downstairs, he had like just a hangout spot for very upstanding, non-white supremacist individuals who loved everyone equally. Yeah. Anyway, swiftly moving on. I think it'd be a cool idea to have like a sort of music bar by night, like cafe by day, with like a record store downstairs. That'd be really cool.
That'd be wicked, yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Have we concluded with the Icarus Don Levy interview?
I think we have. I think, yeah.
Anything you'd like to add before we move on?
I can show you my guitars. I say guitars plural because I have two.
Yeah.
Well, I have two electric guitar. I have two electric guitars. I have one bass guitar. I have 3 acoustics and 1 semi-acoustic. All of which I don't use.
Yeah.
Now, I'll start with the bass. This totally isn't filler. This is my bass.
Yeah.
It's a beauty. It's a
Yeah.
cherry red Ibanez G. GSR 200. It's a GSR 200. I don't know why that went. It's beautiful. I haven't got the little. I normally have a little. I use it as a fret wrap, but it's just like a little bandana. It's actually on my floor somewhere, but I was wearing it yesterday, so that's why it's on here. He's also got eyes. I forgot what
Cool.
I called it something, but I forgot what it was. So, nameless bass. Then on the other side of this little this little alcove, we've got this bad boy. Now this
Yeah.
was a gift from Mr. Elvis. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love playing it. It's definitely helped me hone my skills in guitar and make me want to learn more because it's such a fun guitar to play. I have my other one. I would go get it, but it's in the other room, so I can't be asked. But that one is very, very bad. That one is like, I did not like playing that at all. It was like Star Sound or something. It wasn't very good. But yeah, this is, I like this.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, that was like, ow, I just run over my foot. Oh,
You're right.
I went over my heel as well.
Oh, unlucky boy.
Oh, anyway, yeah, I think that's good for. That really hurt. Oh.
It's quite unfortunate.
Okay, is it my time to interview you?
Yeah.
All right.
Me.
So let's kick this off. So tell me a bit like about yourself. Who are you? What do you play? What kind of hobbies do you like? What sort of? How do you? Like, do you like long walks on the beach? Like, what do you do? Like, tell me a bit about yourself and what your favourite things are.
Kind of. So, I am Elvis Curry. I am the lead guitarist for the jazz funk fusion project, the Horny Cougars, and the lead guitarist for symphonic deathcore project, Slaves to Malevolence. I really like playing the guitar. I think I play the guitar for numerous hours every day, and I have done so for a good couple of years. There's nothing that brings me more pleasure, to be entirely frank with you. That being said, I'm a pianist as well. I have dabbled in piano, especially when I was, 14, 15. That's something I really used to do. So yeah, I'm just a guitarist, pretty much, is the best way you can think of it.
So would you?
I'm also the ex-lead guitarist. I say ex because we are having a reunion, but I was in a band called Monarch, which used to
Epic band.
epic band, very epic band actually. It wasn't. I fucking hated it. But I wouldn't be a Horny Cougar if I wasn't in Monarch first.
We should get Ralph on here.
We should get Ralph on here.
We should definitely get that. So it's got to be after F. It's got to be after F&B. I don't want to because the amount
Definitely.
the amount of editing I'd have to do if you had Ralph on here Like, because I'm not.
Bro, just not saying like I don't even know.
I mean, you gotta say what he said in the studio the other day. I'm not divulging on that, by the way.
We can.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like edit out swear words. I'm just gonna edit out like bad things. So would you say that guitar is like your only hobby, or do you do anything? Any sort of games you play online? Any sort of team-based 5v5 team-based games that you play?
There's a specific game called Overwatch 2. Now, this game has brought me many tears, many aches. I fucking hate it, to be entirely honest with you. It sucks. I don't know why I play it. I just like being Doomfist, Genji, and Reinhardt. I really like, as much as I hate to say it, watching anime. Which is horrible to say out loud.
You heard it here first.
Shut up. Okay, no. But, especially when I was younger, I used to watch quite a lot of anime. And I think that
Imagine,
quite...
imagine liking anime.
Yeah.
Imagine liking anime.
Everyone likes it a little bit.
Yeah,
Especially if you're
I think you're lying if you said you didn't have an anime phase at some point, or still like anime.
apart from I had a massive anime phase.
Yeah.
I loved that shit. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that had a huge impact on me.
Yeah.
Just the stories, the characters, everything about it really. I don't know. Especially at that tender age. So yeah.
Tender as the night, you
Anyway.
sweet, sweet boy. Oh, tell him about our Fortnite adventures. Tell him about our level.
Our Fortnite adventures. Me, Icarus and Travis have all got to the rank Diamond 3. Fortnite ranked reload. Because they're just cool like that. How I'm Diamond 3 is a bit of a miracle, to be honest with you. I'm shockingly bad at Fortnite.
He's not that bad.
This guy isn't. He's pretty good at the old game, I must admit.
I play from time to time. I'm okay.
Yeah. You're pretty gnarly, I must admit.
So, what are your kind of? Tell me a bit more about a bit more about the Horny Cougars. Like, where do they come from? Who are the main influences behind that?
So, the Horny Cougars started from me and Ashton, really. Just me saying to Ashton, bro, I've got this idea for a jazz funk fusion project. There was this point where me and Ashton would just enter a room, a practice room, and 20 minutes later we'd just come up with something. We just had this like musical magic. We were just on a bit of a wavelength together where we just kind of understood what each other were thinking. We're really good at writing songs together is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I'm making this all weird. We're really good at writing songs together, so we made a band. Then we got Ralph involved, and we are the Horny Cougars. We're musical deities. We get summoned to locations where we're required. That's the law of the band anyway. But I'm DJ Lovegoo. This guy's Dr. Heavysack.
One and only.
And Travis, I think, is Upside Down Dick. I don't know about Ashton and Ralph. I don't know what they're called.
I know what Ashton is, but I can't say it on here.
I know
No,
what
it's Ralph the Rhombus.
Ralph the Rhombus.
And then
Ralph's the... Oh,
it was Ralph the Rhombus and Corey the Prick.
That's so horrible.
Am I wrong?
Okay.
So what kind of bands influenced the Horny Cougars and you like the most?
Horny Cougars is influenced mainly, I'd say, by a band called Mr. Bungle, who I found very recently. It's like avant-garde jazz mixed with funk, metal, disco and ska, all in the same song normally. It's pretty interesting stuff. A little bit of it is like quite unlistenable, especially from their second album, Disco Volante. If you want to get into them, I'd recommend listening to California. That album's the most like...
What's the one with the Girls of Porn on it?
Stateful work. Girls of Porn is Mr. Bungle, just self-titled Mr. Bungle.
That's
I think that's their best album, to be honest with you. Disco Volante is their most experimental by a lot, and California is their most listenable kind of album that would be put on the radio if there was an album by Mr. Bungle that would be put on the radio, which it wouldn't, but yeah. Other bands that have influenced me, obviously Avenged Sevenfold. Been a huge fan of it literally since I was about 12. So, you know, they're just such an influential band. There hasn't been really a chapter of my life where I haven't been listening to Avenged Sevenfold. They've had just so much influence on me over the years. Sinister Gates, favourite guitarist of all time, to be honest with you. Love him. His play style, he's just wicked.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Do you have any?
those are the
Do you have any other like individuals that influence like your specific like music? Like who kind of got you into playing guitar? Like what kind of who do you mainly look up to? Like what's your sort of when you think the magnum opus of your playing style? Who does that like? Who are the roots of that? What's your Mount Rushmore?
interesting question. I have to be honest with you and say myself,
Good
because
answer.
I think I just kind of set out to be the best guitarist I can be. I don't try and be like anyone else. I don't try and just, you know, copy other people. I think music has to come from the soul, and I think as long as you're portraying that in your music, I think you're doing the best you can as a musician.
Very
I don't
eloquently
think.
said.
Yes, indeed. That being said, Guy Fletcher. Oh my days.
What a man.
Oh, Guy.
Did I tell you about what he
What
said
a man.
earlier?
Oh,
Not what he said earlier.
huh?
What I was referencing earlier. We were saying about how me and Susie we were talking about just how funny Guy is. And I said about how this one time I was convinced he was off his tits because he comes up to me, he comes up to me, stands next to me, and goes. For context, by the way, Guy's one of our teachers. He goes. Smells very nice in here. The lights are very nice in my eyes, and then just walks away. And then just walks away, like
I
okay,
actually love him.
okay. Where are you getting your tabs from? Like the guy's awesome.
He's a funny guy.
Hmm.
He's pretty cool.
Okay, so
Right.
what would you say your favorite tracks are that like you have sort of heard and be like, I like that. I want to do something like that. Like sort of tracks that stand out to you that have always been like your favorites and stuff that really just hit in that like part of your soul that you're like, shit, this is a good ass song.
So, this is a really good example to use for the classical piano, the compositions I'd write on there. Some songs, mainly, I used to really love Chopin, Frederick Chopin, the composer. He really was a huge influence on me, I think. But yeah, apart from that, maybe like, hello. That's Remy. You might want to cut that out that bit.
Hold on, because we're cut short, I'm just gonna quickly double check that I am picking up everything. Speak.
Hello.
Yeah, cool.
Hello.
It's picking up. Okay.
Could you repeat the question? You might want to just.
Yeah. So what kind of tracks like really stick out to you, and are like, wow, this is a good ass song. I want to kind of make my music similar to how this guy's done it. Like not similar, but like you kind of heard it and you're like, that's like hit you in your soul. Like, yeah.
So, one of the main ones, to be honest with you, is Frederick Chopin, especially for composing on the classical piano. He really had an influence on me. Just his writing, literally everything about it. I don't know. Another track could be Shinji Ikari's theme from Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is just a huge orchestral piano piece that really encapsulates, I feel, the meaning of the show. Not to ramble on, because Evangelion is just like some weird mind fuck of a show that doesn't really make any sense until you've watched it about
I've
5
heard
times
it's good
and
though.
sat taking notes while watching it. It is very good, but it's a bit weird, and it's not something you enjoy watching. It's more something you study,
Oh.
almost. But that's something that really had an influence on me, especially just with the connotations of his theme song, with who the character Shinji Ikari was and what he was kind of going through and thinking about. It really was reflected in that song, I think, and that's something I sought out to recreate. It's all thanks to the genius, the absolute unbridled genius composer Shiro Sagisu. He's done soundtracks for Bleach, Evangelion, so many different TV shows. He's a crazy guy, crazy talented. For like OSTs and stuff. For guitar, I don't know, maybe like Synescates, like I just said, Yngwie Malmsteen, especially some of the classical stuff that he does on the guitar, like the neoclassical stuff. That's so cool. A band I really like called Veiled in Scarlet. The guitars in there, it's so beautiful. It just brings a tear to my eye almost at times. You know, I was listening to it earlier after I got on the bus. It's just crazy.
It's very
just
symphonic.
crazy stuff.
It's very nice stuff.
Right.
I think. Tell me a bit more about like your kind of piano aspect of your playing. Like how much like when did you start playing piano? What? Because we didn't really touch on that a minute ago. So tell me a bit more about that.
So I started playing piano when I was about 14. After, you guessed it, I watched an anime called Your Lie in April.
Really? That's where it came from?
Yeah. I swear to God. When I was 14.
Kimi dayo, kimi na dayo.
Shut up. But yeah, that really had a kind of influence on me, and that's why I started playing piano. And then I've just been playing ever since, really. I don't really play anymore. I used to have lessons, but when I was 14, 15. There was a point, really, where I was better at the piano than I was at the guitar, which was pretty nuts.
I think you should get back into it, bro.
Need to be quiet. Wait, we might have to cut that bit. You might just want to say that again.
I think you should like carry on playing piano because like piano's like it's the roots of all theory. Like it is music theory.
Yeah, of course. It's such an interesting instrument. It's something I will get back into, I think, in years to come. But yeah, I'm just kind of focused on guitar at the moment mainly.
It's very evident. Go check out. Is Horny Cougars gonna have any sort of releases soon, or what are you planning? What are your plans?
Yeah, maybe after the whole FNP's done and we get kind of stuff out there, there should be a little bit to work with if you want to give it a listen. But
speaking,
I don't think.
Go on.
I don't think like there'll be like much really in terms of content soon. I don't really know where we want to take it, to be honest with you. I mean, once Ralph gets his studio set up, that'll be a bit of a different story. But until then, really, we don't really have a means of recording anything. Obviously, we've got Ewan in college, but it's a bit difficult, I think.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Speaking about FNPs. Speaking of FNPs, here's a little segue. What are you doing for your FNP?
So for my FNP, I am presenting my personal portfolio of work as a professional session musician. This include musical projects from all different kinds of genres, ranging from jazz funk to symphonic deathcore, and I just mentioned pretty much. I'm also going to do a third project called Solos in the Style of, to showcase my personal abilities on the guitar, pretty much, just to show off as much as possible, because I think it will increase my grade. To be entirely frank with you.
Yeah.
Obviously this is coming under research, you know, musical pathways and whatnot, just analysing stuff. What else am I doing for my research? I'm doing an artistic deep dive into the artists that I'm researching and some songs that have influenced me, you know, just as for research and stuff. I'm keeping a detailed blog of every session I'm in, every recording session, every practice session, every Tuesday, you know, just really kind of documenting everything as I go on. And that's why we're doing this podcast, you know, really just to document what's going on in our lives at the moment, I think.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit more about the like solos in the style of. What's that gonna like consist of? Is that gonna be like YouTube videos, or like are you gonna do like tutorials and stuff, or what's that gonna be?
Well, what I was thinking of that is just, so I've got one written for Eddie Van Halen, and I'm using techniques used frequently by Eddie Van Halen in a solo in the style of an Eddie Van Halen solo. So I've got it written. I need to add a backing track. I'm just gonna record that on Logic. It shouldn't take me too long because I've already got it written. I've got another one for Yngwie Malmsteen. I've got another one for Frederick Chopin on the piano, which should be pretty interesting.
I think
I might do a couple more, but I don't know yet.
I think something you could do with that. I think you should definitely record videos of you playing it as well, like especially if you want to post it on YouTube, because like people are gonna be like, oh, this is cool. Because for me, for example, I'll be like, oh, this person's playing this solo in the style of this person. That's sick. I'll go on it and I'm not looking at anything. I'm like, this is cool, but I want to see what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Stuff like
Yeah,
that
I
could.
might have to. I do like little music videos and whatnot.
Yeah. What?
Maybe.
So what's your like, sort of end game in music? What's your sort of goals and your like dreams and stuff?
I don't know. I'd be pretty happy. I kind of came to the conclusion a good couple years ago that if I'm making money from playing the guitar, I don't care what I will do. I don't care what happens in my life. I will be happy because I'm playing the guitar. That's all I really care about.
What's the saying? Love what you do and you never work a day in your life. That's isn't that
Exactly.
something like that?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a perfect way of explaining it. I don't know. It's just something. That's just something I realised a while ago.
So do you have any sort of
Um,
like things you wanna achieve on your like journey?
yeah, I guess I'd like to, release a bit of music, with different people down the line. Get really good at the guitar, like really exceptionally good, you know. But I've got a bit of a ways to go really. I think
You don't.
I'm getting there, but
I mean, you're well within the realm of being able to get there. Like to get to
yeah,
like insane
yeah,
like
exactly. That's right.
like you're well within the realm because people like I don't know. It's very difficult to gauge like with guitar because it's like such like a technical thing and there's so many things you can do on it. There's endless things that you can learn. Is it was it Jimi Hendrix that said like just keep practicing. Just even if you think you're the best, you're like if you think you're the best, you're not. Like if you don't think you're the best, then you've got to, like I don't. It's something like that. It's like just got to keep practicing all day. Well, not
Yeah,
all
yeah,
day, every day. But
yeah,
just,
yeah, literally.
no
Just
matter
put in
how
the
good
work,
you are.
in the hours, take what's ours.
Is that a
That's the
lyric?
main thing. That's from the Rocks.
oh, oh, that was
But
horrible.
yeah, stay disciplined. Stay disciplined is the main thing
Yeah.
with the guitar.
So do you not have like any sort
Yeah.
of like in terms of the level of like notoriety? Do you have any sort of aspirations with that, or do you not really care?
What do you mean by notoriety?
Like, would you want to be?
Well, like how famous are
Yeah,
we?
would you want to be huge, or would you want to just keep it like keep
I'm
it chill?
not particularly fast. Obviously, if it happened, that'd be cool, but I'm not expecting that to happen. Partly because it's so just reliant on luck.
Oh yeah.
Something I really can't be fucked with, to be honest with you. There's no point in me worrying about that. If I could be a session musician my whole life, I'll be happy if I play the guitar.
Mm. I think like
Even if yeah.
I think fame. Sorry to cut you off. I will. I think fame is like it's something it's a blessing and a curse because it seems cool from the outside, but then you kind of look into it. They're like they have no privacy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's quite the ordeal.
Mm.
But yeah. Is there any other
I
questions?
feel like being like I feel like just being like the cool uncle that plays guitar. Like I'll be the cool uncle who plays drums and bass and stuff. Like
Yeah, exactly.
it's just I don't know. Like I think as a kid you'd want to be like, oh, I want to be famous. I want to be in this massive band.
Yeah, yeah.
But you kind of
everyone
grow
goes
up and you're like, I can't really be fucked. I can't really be fucked. Like, I'm happy to be a fucking music teacher. Like I'm not at a secondary school because they'll just be like, DJ, DJ, DJ on the little keyboard things.
Yeah.
But like I'd be happy to just be, just doing what I'm doing or doing like you said, just doing what you love, because that's what it's all about. Like it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're enjoying it.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself, really.
So
Important thing.
I've asked that. Okay. I've got a completely curveball question. This is the last question I have. It's completely curveball. What are your kind of opinions about like AI and everything? Like about it, like about all like. Did you hear the SpongeBob like AI songs like the the crab like money that one, but what
Nice.
and like Plan Z and shit and like the Drake ones that are like it sounds like Drake. Like, what do you think about like all that kind of shit? Do you think that AI is sort of taken over too much, or do you like where it's kind of going?
I think music and all art, to be honest with you, is just simply too based in kind of one soul. I don't think AI can replicate the emotion and the kind of feeling in music that's so essential to hear.
Like, I don't think AI could recreate the Pick of Destiny. Like, come on now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think. I think yeah, I agree with that. It's definitely
I think it will have its uses and will be used somewhere, especially like mixing and engineering and shit like that. I think it will have loads of use in there. But as far as actual written music is concerned, I don't think AI can progress to that level.
I agree with that. However, I do. Some of the songs are quite funny. Like
Yeah, of course.
making Drake say gay shit is very funny.
Yeah.
Not that being
It's
gay
funny.
is an issue. That's not an issue.
Yes.
Just like it's just funny because of the whole Drake the type of guy, like whole thing. You see the video of him when they've got the drone in his apartment, he throws a sandal at the drone, he just completely misses.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So funny.
That's pretty old.
I love clowning on Drake. Do you see the video of him walking out to his first show since the Kendrick beef, and he's got a shirt with bullet holes and there's smoke coming out of his back? It is the corniest thing I've ever seen. Oh, but yeah, I think
He's pretty funny guy.
I agree with that. I think like music is definitely rooted in the soul, and it's definitely like it all really comes from the heart. And something that doesn't have a soul or a heart can't really, I don't know, it can't really replicate that. And it may,
It could, try hard at it and like, sound close, but I don't think it can have. Listen to like the guitar intro to Hollow by Pantera, or like, the intro scream to Backcountry.
oh,
AI could never replicate just that energy and kind of just like real kind of presence those things bring.
I feel like
AI can't do it.
I feel like I get it a lot with AI artwork. You sort of see, and you're like, that's AI. You just know.
Yeah, you can
Like,
just tell.
I see that. I'm
There's
like,
nothing
that's
there.
even if it's a good pick. Show me the pillow. Where's the pillow? I know you're sat near it. Where's the pillow?
Hang on. I'll grab the pillow.
All right. Yeah, as you can see, AI.
Pillow.
So
AI pillow, my mum's to be precise.
the reader. Now, like it could be really, really good AI art, but like you just can kind of tell. Even with like, with digital art like this, I feel like this was made by a person. I don't know. You just get that feeling.
Yeah, you can just tell. You
Like-
can tell because there's meaning and kind of like
But like
feeling
when it's
behind
made by AI, you literally just have like gut feeling, and I feel like you can't have a good interaction with music, even if it's good, if it's made by AI, because I feel like music, you really connect with the soul of the person who made it. Like you really like spiritually connect with them, and you can't do that if the spirit isn't there. Like if it's just
definitely.
at that point it's just notes. It's just notes being played and like noise.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, definitely. I'm in agreement to that, really.
I think
Anything else you want to say?
I think that music is a dying breed, and it's slowly coming back to fruition, coming back to like the forefront. Like music died out for a long time, and it was like we're just out of the golden age. I feel like we're in kind of like a renaissance period, definitely, especially for like alternative music and everything. Definitely in like a sort of renaissance. There's so many bands that are out at the moment. It's such a huge scene. It's massive. But we're out of the golden age of like from like 60s to like 2000s. That was just insane period of time where just all music was really what is that?
My dad's golf clubs.
It's not a golf club.
Don't quite know what it does. Yeah, I know. Look, he's got his golf clubs.
Ah, show us your putt. Go on, show us your putt to close out the episode. Show us your move your camera. Get a full body angle of you showing your putt.
Fucking hell.
Oh yeah. It's not a baseball bat. It's not a baseball bat. I can imagine like your dog walking by you, just twatting him in the head.
I would never. Poor Una. But yeah, is that all? We covered everything.
I think we did. Yeah, I think in the next episode we are gonna maybe have. Oh, he's glitched.
You're proper breaking up. Your camera's gone off.
There we go. You good?
Yeah.
I think in the next episode we're gonna try and get a guest on. I think we can either. Who do you think we should have on? Actually,
I
no.
think we should.
Let's leave it as a surprise.
Yes, that's a marvelous idea.
Don't tell them.
We're not going to tell you who our guest is. I think we should do like little photo shoots.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, I think next time we're in college, we're going to take some like professional photos.
Yeah.
Then we could do ones of our guests.
That'd be cool.
How cool would that
Oh,
be?
you know when we did those photos in the Grosvenor of us like doing really weird.
Yeah.
It's gonna be super weird poses.
Yeah. And we
Yeah.
could do that with each of our like, and we could just have that as like the cover art for the brown note.
That'd be
That's
cool.
such a good idea. Why did I
yeah.
think of that before?
It'd be like
Let's just
we
do
just
that.
we just have each of the episodes it's the Brown Note podcast like over along the top, and then just a photo of us with the guest or just us posing weirdly.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be wicked.
Okay, so
That is a very cool idea.
thank you all, probably 4 people who are watching, who are going to be watching. This has been the Brown Note with Elvis Curry and Icarus Donlevy. We hope you have enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Yes.